Okay, welcome friends. Today's topic is ultimate guide of making a competitive offer and get deals on the contract. So the question is, what activities do you need to engage to make money in real estate? There are only three activities that are going to make you money: talking to listing agents, talking to sellers, and making offers. Anything else that you do, it's sort of overhead. I know, I understand, things need to be done, but you've got to put all your time and effort in making offers. So now, what does it take to get an offer accepted in this competitive market? Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of examples of properties that we've gotten on the contract, both from MLS and off market. Okay, and these offers have come from the Wholesale inner circle group. So let me just tell you in a nutshell. So we run the cash flow and the Wholesale group. People from the cash flow group, what it takes to stand out on MLS properties is to give 5 to 10,000 earnest money. I'm going to put it on the chat because this is very important. Earnest money, 5 to 10,000 earnest money. Okay. The second thing that you need to be able to do is cash offer. Okay. So this means private money lending, which we give through the cash flow inner circle. Okay, so we can fund your deal and it's going to be like cash because all the fund that we put together is from private money lenders. Okay, so the third thing that you need to do is be able to close on the seller's time frame. Okay, so closing fairly fast. Okay, it could be 2-3 weeks. It depends on the seller's needs. Okay, so closing on seller's terms. Okay, so this is what it takes to get a property on the contract from the MLS. So what I want to show you is what are the line items that are very critical when making offers on MLS properties, right? So this is an example of a property that we got on the contract. This is off-market property, but we use the 7.0 contract because the seller wanted us to use the 7.0, okay? So line number 2 is gonna be very critical. We're gonna go over a few technicalities that are so critical for you, okay? Just 3 of them that you need to understand. When you make an offer, make sure that you always put right next to your entity or your name and or assign, okay? This is going to give you the ability to wholesale the property. If you change your mind and you don't want to move forward and close on the property, you have the option to wholesale the property, meaning to sell the rights of the contract to somebody else. Because let me tell you, in real estate, you're going to be making money not when you rehab the property or flip the property or rent the property. You're going to be making money when you get a great deal on the contract. Just like Tony, he got a great deal on the contract from probate. So at that point, at that time, he made great money just by getting that deal on the contract. He could have wholesale that property, although he chose to keep it as a rental. So what you need to do is M or assign, okay? It's super critical. Now, let's move forward to the next key point that you need to understand. So the next section is the information about the property, the P number, and anything that you want to include as part of the purchase. Obviously, the biggest and most important line item is purchase price, okay? So right here, line 38, how much are you going to get the property on the contract? So you do need to understand your numbers. I'm going to quickly refresh your mind. When making offers, whether it's MLS or off-market property, you always need to understand your numbers because if you don't, you risk overpaying for the property. So I'm going to put the formula that you need to understand. The ARV times 70%, and I will explain why times 70%. If you are going to do a flip, you need to keep at least 20% net profit. Example, if the property sells for $200,000 after it's been rehabbed, you need to keep at least 20% of that, which is equivalent to $40,000. So if you're thinking about flipping a property, you need to make at least 20%. And guess what? Right now, in a seller's market, where there's such a huge shortage of inventory, making it 20%, it's super, super easy, okay? So that's ARV times 70%. The other 10% is for carrying and holding cost, okay? So that we're gonna subtract the rehab, okay? Okay, so minus the rehab, okay? So the rehab is how much it's gonna take to rehab the property. And let me just give you a tip of advice. For that is the formula. So to rehab a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property, okay, is going to be in an, I would say in a B neighborhood. I'm putting this on the chat. Is going to cost you somewhere between 30 to 50K, okay? And that is a medium rehab where you're updating the kitchen, the bathroom, light electric, light plumbing, perhaps some repairs in the windows, roof. Your rehab amount is going to run anywhere between 30 to 50,000. I mean, it's that simple. Stay away from go rehabs. They're going to go way over 50,000. Okay, for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or 2-bedroom, 1-bath, way over 50. And this is in a B, C neighborhood. A neighborhood, obviously, will be way more because the quality of the rehab and the finishes would be a lot nicer. Okay, so again, understand your numbers because that's what you're going to put in here. Whether you're in a competitive market, it doesn't matter. You need to know the numbers. And let me tell you, people rather take an offer that is cash, okay, but that is not asking price. So you can afford to offer less than asking price, but it has to be cash offer, okay? Why? Because there's no mortgage contingency, right? And perhaps no need for appraisal, depending who's lending you the money, or if it's through a private money lender or if it's your own money, you technically don't need an appraisal. So you can afford to call the number that you want to pay. But again, understand your numbers. That is very critical. There's a question. How do you get comps if you're not a broker? So very simple, Bill. Through ChicagoDealVault, we give you the comps. So you can pull any property. Okay, so when you log on to the system, Bill, okay, so yeah, the audio is back. When we log on to the system, we're gonna be able to give you the comps, okay? With a click of a button, boom. I'll show you that in just a second, as soon as it logs on. To be able to get comps, it is very, very critical. Now, earnest money. Again, this property, we were able to wholesale, so obviously we're trying to minimize the earnest money when wholesaling a property, but if it's from the MLS, they're gonna be looking for 5 to 10,000 earnest money. Otherwise, you want to stand out from the competition. So earnest money needs to be 5 to 10,000. And then closing. This is line 49. That's based on the seller. When do they want to close on the property? Okay, so it's not up to you, it's up to the seller. Because if you have private money lending, you can close in as early as 2 weeks, okay? Because there's no mortgage contingency, no need for an appraiser, so it's super, super fast, okay? Next, financing, we're crossing out the financing contingency, and then you're gonna initial cash transaction. Now, many people wonder whether hard money lenders are cash. They're not, okay? So the reason why is because they may deny the loan. They need to send out an appraiser, and if it doesn't appraise out, they're not gonna give you the money. So it's contingent on the appraiser and the underwriting process from the hard money lender. So hard money lender is usually a big institution, so it's not considered cash. Super important. The only thing that is cash, it's private money lending or obviously your own money, okay? So next, we're gonna scroll down, prorations. You're gonna see that now, oftentimes we like to do 105, 105%. So that means that based on the last year's tax bill, you're going to increase that by 5%. Why? Because taxes go up on a yearly basis. And some sellers, if it's off market, they don't want to pay you that increase. So if between 100 to 105, hopefully you can negotiate 105 for the tax proration. Okay. Now, attorney review. So here, this is very, very important to make sure that you do not waive your attorney and inspection review period. You have 5 business days. This is very critical. So even if you make a cash offer, please always make sure you never waive this inspection or review period, okay? Because if you do, then you are pretty much giving away your earnest money, okay? So please always keep your 5 business day attorney and inspection review, okay? Never waive this contingency. Okay, so that is part of the inspections and review. Let me point out the next important item in the contract. Okay, flood of survey, damage to real estate. Let me scroll down to the next important point, okay? I wanna make sure that we don't miss anything. Okay, so these are other contingencies about dual agency or contingencies upon the buyer's sale of real estate. Obviously, that's not gonna fly, all these contingencies. And okay, ASIS, this is the next important one, line 484. So this is really powerful, and I highly recommend you use as is, okay? Because when we're buying distressed properties, we're gonna be in charge of pretty much fixing anything that is not okay with the property, okay? So what it means is that after you do an inspection, once you get an executed contract, you have 5 business days to send an inspector, and anything that comes out, it's what you need to fix. So you're not gonna get any credit on that property. Either you back out of the deal or you buy it as is. So it's really, really powerful because sellers don't like to give credit, okay? Especially right now in a shortage of inventory, they just wanna sell the house as is. So when you initial cash offer as is, 105 proration for taxes and 5 to 10,000 earnest money, you stand at a really good position to get the property on the contract. Okay, even if it's MLS and you have a multiple offer situation, you stand at really great chances. And so that's pretty much it. What you need to pay attention to. Okay. So let me see, for tax proration, always ask for 105. Of course, always shoot for 105. Okay, tax proration. Why are the disclosures X out? So typically, off-market properties, we don't get any disclosures like the lead-based paint or like the radon disclosure or the seller's disclosure. We typically don't get those. So it's okay, we don't need them. Why? Because we have 5 days to do an inspection on the property. And that's an opportunity for us to identify potential expensive issues with a professional inspector. And then if there are deal breakers, we back out of the deal. Okay, so that is why it's super critical to never ever waive that 5 business day attorney and inspection review period. Okay. Another question is when you are liable for the next year's taxes, they will probably have gone up. So you want to get as much. Absolutely. I thought they were required by law. No. You want to negotiate these 105 for sure. What can you provide them if you are a licensed and are planning to wholesale? Okay, so great question. So we don't provide them, they're provided by the seller, okay? But many sellers, they just want to sell the property as is, right? So they're not gonna disclose any information. It's up to the buyer to do the due diligence, send an inspector, and find all material facts on the property, okay? But obviously, as Cheryl said, if you're a licensed broker and you're selling the property, you have to fill out the seller's disclosure, read on disclosure. So it's a different ballgame, right? If you are selling the property and you're a licensee, or if you're helping a seller and you are listing the property on the MLS, then you need to have your client sign all the disclosures, especially the seller's disclosure, okay? So I'm gonna show you in DealVault where we have all these contracts and disclosures. Very, very important. I meant the disclosures. Yeah, no, they're not required, especially off-market properties, sellers are not required. However, once you're working with a broker representing a seller, or the broker herself or himself selling the property, you do have to provide the disclosures. So I'm gonna show you what they look like. Okay, so let me log on to ChicagoDealVault. So the first thing that I wanna quickly show you is the comps. So I'm gonna randomly pick up or select a property, right? In here from pre-foreclosures. And when I scroll down, there's a tab right here, comps. It's already pre-defaulted to the number of bedrooms, baths. So all you need to do is click on search and you're gonna get comps. In this particular case, we didn't get the number of bedrooms and baths for the property. So it's not gonna be very accurate. I think I open up the same property. Let me open up another property, Arlington Heights. And these comps are coming from the MLS, okay? So we are tapping into the MLS. So I can just click on search, but it's not giving us how many bedrooms and baths for this particular property. So in here, you can select, give me the comps from a 1-bedroom, or let's say 3-bedroom and a 2-bathroom, okay? And then just click on search. Super important when pulling comps, they have to be in the last 6 months and within a 1 mile radius, okay? That's the only requirement. So we access the MLS and bring comps for you. So it's very, very powerful. Now let me show you the contracts, okay? So I'm gonna click on contracts, and in here, we have categories. So in here, purchase and sales. Okay, so right here, we have disclosures. So let me open this up. So it's always a good idea, especially if you're a licensee. These are the disclosures. This is the most important disclosure. It's the seller's disclosure that you need to have your seller fill out. And you cannot fill this out on behalf of your seller. It needs to be by your client. If you're a broker, if you're selling the property, then you obviously need to fill this out. Then you have a few other disclosures in here, such as the mold disclosure. You also have the radon disclosure, and finally the lead-based paint. Okay, so these are the main 4 disclosures that you need to have when listing properties on the MLS. So if you're not a broker, your broker is going to give you these disclosures, but otherwise you can get them from ChicagoDealVault. Okay. Now I want to show you the contracts, okay? So right here, we have the 7.0 contract, the one that I was showing you, although we can generate these for you from ChicagoDealVault. Once you have a property from the MLS, you can just click on, if I open up a property from the MLS in ChicagoDealVault, I can just click on make offer, MLS. All I need to fill in is how much I'm gonna offer, when I'm gonna close, earnest money, and then whether this is a cash transaction, as is, and dual agency. Dual agency means that the listing agent is gonna represent you as the buyer, so they're gonna keep both sides of the commission. So in here, submit offer, and boom, we're gonna generate the same contract that we went over right now, the 7.0 contract. So it's extremely powerful. It's gonna have your company name, the property address, that we're making an offer, and then the price, everything that we talked about is going to be already pre-filled for you, okay? And remember, cash offer only applies for private money lending, not hard money lending. Let me see if there are any other questions on the line. Okay, so is dual agency a good thing to do? Great question. The whole deal is a negotiation. Yes, dual agency is really, really critical. Let me give you an example of a property. I think it's 4717 Kedville. Is that Kedville? Let me see if this is the property. I'm gonna give you an example of dual agency. Hopefully this comes back. I think this is the address. So dual agency means, I don't think I type in 47, what's the address? Or is it Kedzie? Trying to remember the address. So let me just give you an example. The listing agent is going to represent you, and especially for REO brokers, they like to keep both sides of the commission, okay? So we had a case that we bought a property near Midway, and the listing agent was an REO, and he's part of ChicagoDealVault, Ryan Smith. So he said, hey, Hugo, we need to do dual agency. Even though I'm a real estate broker, I gave up my commission. So he represented us in the transaction. So he kept both sides of the commission in exchange for getting us the deal. Okay. I just wanted to show you how that looks like on the MLS 4717 Kedville. Is that Kedville? I'll find it, and then I'll share that with everyone. So you're going to be able to see that the listing agent and the buyer's agent is the same agency. Okay, so dual agency is a great way for you to get a deal. If you're not a broker, then guess what? You can talk to the listing agent and say, hey, would you mind representing me in the transaction? Would you? And they're going to be more than happy to do so, because they're going to make double the commission, okay? And it's just a safe way for you to increase your chances to get the property on the contract, okay? So if you're not a broker, it's a good thing. Even if you're a broker, just give up your commission. So we gave up like $2,000-$3,000. In exchange, we got the property. So that was a great deal, okay? Now let's talk about another contract that we have, that is the off-market contract. It's a 2-page non-invasive contract that we use to get properties off market on the contract. So you don't want to overwhelm the seller with a lengthy 14-page contract. So this is a 2-page non-invasive contract. So again, in here, you're gonna have your name and or assigned. This is gonna allow you to wholesale the property. And then this is the property address and the price that you're buying the property for. Earnest money, look at this, $10. It's just, you want to put down as little money as possible, okay? And then the next clauses, let's quickly go over them. 1, 2, and 3, we always cross them out because we're going to make the seller feel special. So the first one has to do with us obtaining a mortgage. So again, it's a cash offer. We don't need a mortgage. So we're waiving the mortgage contingency. The second is the offer is further subject to buyers obtaining a home inspection report. So we're waiving the inspection report. Why? Because when we're getting this property on the contract, we are sitting with the owner at the property. So that's an opportunity for us to walk the property with our GC. Okay, so when we have met the owner, we're doing already an inspection on the property. So we're waiving this contingency. That's going to make the seller feel safer. And then the last one is owner shall pay broker a commission of. So we're getting rid of the middleman, okay, or the broker. So nobody's paying a brokerage commission. And that's the big thing about sellers working with you as an investor, because they don't need to pay a commission. And then you're going to be closing about 30, 45 days after execution of the contract. Okay. And that's it. It's super, super simple. Then you sign and boom. So this is one of the properties that we were able to wholesale. This is one of our wholesalers from the Wholesale Inner Circle team. Now, are there any other questions on the line? Where do I get the contract? Okay, so the contracts are all in DealVault. So let me show you. In here, under contracts and documents, we have different categories. We have scripts, we have wholesale agreements, rental forms, purchase and sale, partnership agreements, rehab. So under here, you have the disclosures, you have the 7.0 contract, the 2-pager sales contract that is non-invasive. We highly recommend that for off-market properties. So for instance, if I go under off-market properties, let's say pre-foreclosure, right? And then I just randomly pick a property. We have a button that says make off-market offer right here. When you click on that button, we will automatically generate the 2-page contract for you, and we're going to pre-fill this with your contact information, the property address, okay? So this is the contract that you're going to take to the appointment with the seller. Again, very, very simple. It even has your signature, today's date. So this is what you want to take to an appointment with the seller, okay? Does the short contract say who pays closing costs? The buyer. So the buyer always is going to pay for closing costs. Okay, great question, Bill. So let me show you. It's number 6. Buyer to pay all closing costs associated with ordering title. We want to control title. Okay, so when we buy the property or wholesale the property, the buyer will always pay for closing costs. So the objective is, let me go back to this 2-pager, okay? We are guaranteeing the seller this bottom line. He's gonna net 84,500. That is why it's so attractive for them. They don't need to pay for closing costs. They don't need to pay for title search. They don't need to pay brokerage commission, nothing, right? So that's what makes this contract extremely attractive. We just got another property on the contract in Austin last week for a little bit over 100,000. In fact, it got sold yesterday. So we sold the property within hours, and we use exactly the same contract, the 2-pager. Eric, do you have a question? Oh, okay.
Oh, no, sorry. I just came in late. I apologize.
Oh, no worries, Eric. So let me see. Does the 2-pager say who pays? Yeah, absolutely. So it says on item paragraph 6. Tim, are you selling these MLS properties to other investors as well as offering them to the group? Yeah, absolutely, Tim. So the way it works, the wholesale inner circle team is getting all these properties on the contract, and then we're sending these to the cash flow inner circle team. And if they don't buy them, then they go to the entire network. Okay, so far all the properties we've wholesaled in the last 2 months have been bought by the cash flow inner circle group, because they have a first-hand look at these properties and they end up buying them. Okay, so it's been extremely, extremely powerful. Bill, in paragraph 6, I don't see real estate taxes mentioned. Okay, so let me check taxes. So taxes will be prorated at 100%, okay? Actually, right here, sorry, 105. So it's paragraph number 9. It says taxes to be prorated at 105 of the last tax bill, okay? So we always aim for 105. Some sellers are wanting to not give that increase. So we're okay, 100%. It's not a deal breaker, right? I mean, it'll be nice to get a 5% increase, but if not, it's not a deal breaker. Okay, so another question is, what is the difference between the private lender and Harmony lender? Big difference, Ivy. So private money lending is an individual with lots of money who is willing to give you cash, and Harmony lender is a big institution, and they're going to give you, again, cash for your purchase. The only difference is that one is institutional money and the other one is an individual. They're both asset-based. It's expensive money, 12% interest rate, 6-month term, 2 points. Okay, they're both about the same. So the private money lending is relationship-based, is who you know. But this is the great news. As part of our cash flow in a circle group, we have raised over $1.3 million cash, okay, to fund your deals. And I'm showing on the screen the terms. So the terms are the same as Harmony or private money. It's 12% interest rate, 2 points, and we're lending up to 150,000 purchase price and up to 50,000 for the rehab. Okay, so you need to be part of the cash flow inner circle group, and then you can tap into this private fund, which is great, right? We're gonna vet the deal. We need to make sure that you have some reserves, 3 to 6 months of principal, interest, tax, insurance, and also we want to make sure that you have FICO of 680 and above. And the reason why is because once you rehab the property, you stabilize the property, or if you're going to keep it as a rental, we want to make sure that when you refinance on the back end, that your loan does not get stuck. We want to make sure that you repay the loan. And for that to happen, two things need to occur. You need to have 25% equity on the deal, which we're going to make sure that it does when we give you the money. And two, you have to have FICO over 680. Banks are not wanting to lend to individuals with FICO less than 680, even if it's a commercial program, right? That it's the loan is for your entity. Okay, you're going to be the guarantor on the loan, but they want you to have at least 680 FICO. Okay, so that's the main difference. And the cool thing about being part of the cash flow in a circle is that even if you don't know anybody with money, it's okay. Why? Because we build those relationships for you, and we raise the money to fund your deals. So it's super powerful. In fact, the property that we sold on Sunday, we're going to be funding that property for one of our members. Okay, yeah, perfect. The sound is back. How does the refinancing work? So the way it works is that once you stabilize the property, then you go to either a conventional lender like a big bank, Homebridge, Chase, Bank of America, to get a residential loan on the property, or you go to a commercial lender. It could be a private money, it could be a Harmony lender, or it could be any bank that has a commercial program. That means that the loan is going to be given to your entity, not to your name. They're going to give you 75% of the ARV. So after repair value, so if the property appraises for 200,000, they're going to give you 150,000. So when we analyze the deal, we want to make sure that the purchase and the rehab is 75%. So we're going to give you purchase 100, 50 for rehab, and it should appraise for 200,000. So we want to make sure that you end up with 25, 30% equity on the back end, so that when you refinance, you're able to pay off our loan, and you end up with obviously equity on the back end. So the funding terms and guidelines for micro flipping. So micro flipping means that you are doing an in and out flip. So it's a small rehab, okay? Very simple, small rehab that you put it on the market and boom, you sell it. So you're not doing a go rehab. That's what it means. You buy a property, fix it up quickly in 1 or 2 months, and then you put it on the market. That's what it means. Micro flipping. What are the funding terms and guidelines for, so when you flip a property, you don't need to worry about refinancing because you're just selling the property. All you need to worry is about funding the property. How are you going to buy the property? You need a rehab loan, right? So that could be given by a hard money lender or our fund, a private money lending. Okay, so that's how you can get money for the purchase and for the rehab, which we give you as part of the cash flow in a Chicago group. Another question is, Lisa, for offers above asking, will they later appraise appropriately? A friend decided to build instead of buying resale because she didn't. Okay, great question, Lisa. So for instance, right now, people are paying above asking price, right? So the problem is that banks are going to look at the appraisal and they're not going to lend if it's not appraising, right? If the property appraised for 250 and you offer 280, tough luck. The bank is not going to allow you to overpay for the property because that's what happened in 2008, right? People overpay for properties. It just caused the bubble to burst. So banks learn their lesson. They're going to go buy the appraisal. So even if you offer 300,000, it doesn't matter. If the property appraised for 250, that's how much you're going to be gaining, 250. So that could be a deal breaker. So you always need to understand your numbers, look at the comps carefully. So another question is, do I need to worry about having a good job income when refinancing? Great question, team. If you're going to go the commercial route, you don't need to worry about W-9 or W-2. If you want to go the residential route, you do. But guess what? The only difference is that residential refinance, you're going to get the lower interest rate, but right now the rates went up somewhere in the 4%, okay? And then commercial is 5.5 or so, okay? So that's the only difference. My recommendation is to go commercial because you can have unlimited loans versus residential. You can have up to 10. Okay, so residential, you can have up to 10 loans, and that's about it. Commercial, unlimited. So I highly recommend to go the commercial route. Let me see, there's another question. What does it take to get approved through your program? Okay, to get approved, we're gonna check your credit, make sure you have the reserves and that the deal makes sense. 3 things, great question. Another question is, so again, team, you don't need to worry about having a job. All you need to worry is making sure you have a great deal and that you have reserves, at least 10 to 15,000, and your FICO is 680. That's all you need to worry about. Another question is, Bill, what is the minimum price house that you can buy and you get your private money? I bought a house for, great question, Bill. Loans under 75,000, it's a big no-no, okay? Banks are not gonna touch your property. So banks are going to look at properties 75,000 and up, okay? So smaller loans, you pretty much have to pay cash. So it's a big problem. Even if we were to give you the money, guess what? You're gonna be stuck because no banks that are going to give you a loan on a property that its ARV is less than 75,000. So they're not touching those loans. I think it costs them more overhead than the money they're going to be making on such a small loan amount. Okay. Jessica, question is, what if you have the reserves and deal but don't have the FICO score? Are there any alternatives? Jessica, great question. So they can make exceptions, but you do need to have 600, at least 600. Anything below 600, you're better off doing a partnership. Okay, so you do need to do a partnership with somebody with better credit if you have the deal and the reserves. So that's the workaround if you don't have the FICO. The FICO plays a role when you're gonna refinance on the back end for a rental, okay? But if it's a flip, it doesn't matter. You're gonna sell the property. Right now, best time to sell, best time to rent. Great questions, guys. Another question is, how do you find good deals in B neighborhoods when the market is so hot? Great question. So James, through ChicagoDealVault, we have access to probates, pre-foreclosures, upcoming auctions, bank-owned, vacant, wholesale deals. So we are targeting only off-market properties to tap into great deals, okay? Because right now MLS is saturated, things are flying off the shelf, people are paying crazy money. The only option right now is to go the off-market route, okay? And in here in DealVault, you can tap into any B market. So under our area selection, you can filter by B markets. Give me the top flipping or rental markets in the B areas. We're gonna give them to you, and then based on those markets, you can search for probates, pre-foreclosures, upcoming auctions. And guess what? If you don't feel comfortable getting these properties on the contract, because you do need to talk to the owner, then we can do that for you through our wholesale inner circle group, right? So we have over 70 wholesalers as part of Chicago DealVault. All they do is door knocking, driving for dollars, bandit signs, cold calling, you name it, right? They do everything that it takes to get these properties on the contract. So it's okay if you don't feel comfortable doing door knocking. We will do that for you. Just give us the address, and we're gonna skip trace the owner, find out who the owner is, and then run the numbers on the property, and we can get it on the contract for you. It's extremely powerful. Another question is, okay, so that's the question for James. So guys, I wanna make sure that you are part of the cash flow inner circle group or the wholesale inner circle group, okay? So I'm gonna send you the link for both groups. We meet tomorrow. We have a meeting for the wholesale inner circle group. So if you want to be part of that group, please send us an email, and we're going to send you the invite for tomorrow's meeting. So send us an email to support@ChicagoDealVault.com, and we're going to send you invite for tomorrow's meeting. Again, this is the wholesale inner circle group. Okay, we're meeting tomorrow 6:30. This is the roster, what it looks like. So we have over 70 people. You're gonna be in a group, in a team. You're gonna have a team lead, okay? That you're gonna be working with, and you can work across teams. So it's extremely powerful. Everyone helps each other. So the objective of this group is to get off-market deals on the contract at a great price to wholesale them, okay? Can we take advantage of the wholesale deals if we're not part of the wholesale inner circle group? Yeah, absolutely, Bill. You can. You just need to be part of the cash flow inner circle group. Okay, when you're part of the cash flow, you're gonna have a first-hand look at these deals that this group is getting on the contract. So I send you the link for both. The cash flow group, cash flow meets on Sunday at 1 p.m. So let us know, and we can send you the free invite for you, for either one of these two meetings, okay? I just wanna make sure that you take your real estate investment efforts to the next level. And we do deal reviews, we do live calls, we do mentoring calls. It's a support network, okay? Not only that, but you also get the funding for your deals, and we share all our resources. Everything that we utilize, it's at your fingertips. So it's extremely powerful because we're in the people's business. And again, please, we need to make offers, talk to listing agents, and talk to sellers to make money in real estate. That's what it boils down to. Those are the three activities that are gonna make you money, okay? Anything else is overhead. So we're gonna help you focus on those three activities. That is why we built platform, training, technology for you to leverage and focus on what's gonna make you money, okay? Anybody would like to share any experiences? George, anything going on? Jessica, Juan, Lisa, Mary, Rob, anything that you would like to share with the team? Another question is, how do I get a trial to the cash flow group? Hey, James, send us an email to support@ChicagoDealVault.com, and we're gonna send an invite to Sunday's meeting at 1 p.m. It's the cash flow, okay? Super powerful, okay? We've been doing deal reviews, and we funded already 2 transactions. 2 of our members have been funded by our group, by our fund, okay? Cash. We give you the money for the purchase and for the rehab. Okay, so it's extremely powerful. I'm interested to know what kind of results people are getting from sending out letters to off-market properties. Bill, great question. We have Tony on the line. Tony did his first mailer for probates, and he got a home run deal on his first mailer, Tony and Amy. So people are getting very, very successful doing mailers. The key is consistency. That's where most investors fail. They fail to do it consistently. You have to do it for at least 5 to 8 months consecutively. Okay, people, investors fail after 2, 3 mailers. George, did you want to share something? Oh, I think George camera froze. I just sent out about 250.
So finally closed on one of my whatever business loans.
We cannot hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I was lucky enough to actually close on my business loan. It took a while to do the refinance, but I was lucky enough to lock in a rate which was unheard of, Hugo. I got a 3-point interest rate on a business loan. So I was very pleased. So I have 3 more in the pipeline. I'm working on that. And one exchanges. Wanted to ask you, can you go over 1031 and how that works? Or is it, I need to look inside the resources you have, and I need to read up on that and see how they work, and how do you.
George, we cannot hear you, but I'm gonna give you a call, okay? After the webinar, we cannot hear you. I'm going to call you, okay? And then talk about the 1031 exchange. I believe you need some information, some contacts. Unfortunately, we could not hear George, but I'm gonna give him a call. So again, thank you everyone for joining. We also have Elena on the line. Elena has done amazing work for us on roofs. So if you need roof work, Elena is a great resource. She's part of the Inner Circle group. So please feel free to reach out to Elena. Thank you for joining, Elena. George, I'm gonna call you today. So thank you everyone for joining. Again, start making offers, okay? Talk to listing agents and sellers. If you're going after MLS, dual agency, 5 to 10,000 earnest money, cash offers, no contingencies on the mortgage, okay? As is. So thank you everyone for watching. Please send us an email and we'll be happy to send you an invite to tomorrow's meeting, wholesale, or Sunday meeting, cash flow. And again, if you need contracts and resources, please send us an email to support@ChicagoDealVault and we'll be happy to send you the resources. Any contracts, disclosures, anything that you need, that's what we're here for, okay? So thank you everyone for watching, and I look forward to seeing you Wednesday or tomorrow if you're in the wholesale group.
Hugo, you gonna do the shadow inventory thing?
Yeah, we're gonna, I can call you and I want to talk to you about that as well.
Okay.
Perfect.
I have a question at that in your 2 pages contract, when you offer 85,000 net to this seller, the taxes are in arrear in Illinois, so the buyer also paid those taxes, right?
Right. So we need to do our title search and due diligence because we're in charge of paying for that. Great question, Sam. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And then I'll give you a call, George, Zora, and Sam. Okay, have a good night, everyone.